I mean, there's so much going on right now, and just the whole immigration thing. Yeah, can we start there?
Yeah, let's
Let's
go.
start there. This whole immigration thing, this whole ICE raiding, going like to Home Depot, going to Home Depot, going to vendors, street vendors at the time when there's graduations, like this is graduation time right now. This is when people are culminating, people are graduating, and it just says fear to air, a lot of families. What's your opinion about all this going on right now? It's a lot, right?
Uh-huh.
I'll start. I'm gonna start because I have my thoughts on this, and you know, one thing for sure is fear. One thing for sure is fear, and I'll just give an example. We had our culmination, and just for a safety precaution, our culmination started at 9 o'clock, and we opened our doors, but we had everybody come in. We didn't want anybody standing outside, so we had all the families come in an hour ahead of schedule, so they could be inside the school where it's safe. you know, and attendance has been down. Attendance has been down. My school year ended already, but attendance was down. I think it sends a lot of fear to all the families. I can imagine if you're a high school student and you're worried about your mom, you're worried about your dad, your grandfather, your grandmother, and somebody asks you for your phone, and you're like, wow, I don't know if I want to give up my phone because I want to make sure that my family's okay. I want to make sure that if I need to call somebody or they're going to contact me, I need to know immediately. So this whole fear thing, disrupting our school, disrupting our graduations, our culminations, it's terrible.
I don't think anyone should ever be afraid of going outside,
Mm,
just even going to get their basic necessities, going to the grocery store. Um, Definitely, when all this started back in January, I have been a teacher for 12 years now. So a lot of my sixth graders have graduated high school, and some of them are in high school, and I keep in touch with a few of them who I became really close with their families. And a particular student reached out to me around mid January, and he was basically asking me for advice. What do I do? Because of his situation and his family situation, he was scared to go to school.
yeah,
He was afraid to go to school. Um, I did, kind of talk to him about how California, we're sanctuary state, or at least we are, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And I did let him know that um, because of our, education system, and that he would be safe at school, at least.
Mm,
um, but I feel like being able to see all sides of this is is really scary. Um, at one point, I was an immigrant here too, so it's it's scary. Um, I was here in the early 2000s as an immigrant, and it wasn't until like 2005 that we were able to get our paperwork sorted, just because my dad was able to fix his residency through the amnesty in the 1980s. So we just got lucky,
yeah,
but not many people are lucky like that. Um, and then when people talk about doing it the right way, even if you do it the right way, um, now we're seeing kids being detained.
yes.
Um, the little boy in Torrance who has now been deported.
Hmm.
I mean, how do you even
Doing it the
explain?
right way. Doing it the
Yeah,
right way. You get detained doing it the right way. Yeah, that's so. It's such a sad, tragic thing. Like I don't even know how to wrap my head around all of it. Because there's a lot of sides to it. There's a lot of things going on. I personally, I'm like third generation Mexican, um, but you know, my son, let's just take we live right here by downtown LA. We live right here by downtown LA, right? And there's this curfew right here in downtown LA where, you got to be in by 8 o'clock. So we're telling my son like, hey, you need to be in by 8 o'clock. You need to be, he's 20, he's 21. You need to be home by 8 o'clock. We don't want you to get picked up. Who knows where they're gonna put you. Who knows what's gonna happen to you. Make sure you have your wallet with you. Make sure you have your ID with you. Um, that's tragic. It's sad. And then you see all the stuff on social media, and I don't know. I don't know. I haven't been to any of these gatherings at all. I drive through the 101 freeway every day, and I see that all the cop cars. I see all of. Sometimes the freeway will be stopped. I'll see like the police officers jumping onto the freeway. So it's just a lot of fear, a lot of chaos. And I could see it. It's definitely from the police standpoint where they're just doing their job. Like they're just doing they're being ordered to be out there and keep order, and people are throwing things at them and they're shouting things at them, and it just causes more chaos. And it's almost like that's what they
Mhm.
wanted to happen, and
For sure.
they're getting exactly what they
What they
wanted.
want. Yeah. They want people to be angry. What could be, um, from the things that I've seen, I haven't been out to any of these either. Um, but I feel like from the outside looking in, it does look like that they want people to react and not in a positive way.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Um,
So they could say, look at these animals. Look at these animals right here. Look at they deserve to be deported. Look at them. They look at them throwing rocks at, the police officers. They don't respect authority. Like this whole thing, and it's just a sad, again, sad situation. Um, and if I just bring it back to we're educators, when I bring it back to schools, it just sends fear. It sends fear to families and to students. And like you go to school and then your parents get picked up, and then now who are you living with now? What's going to happen to you? Like that's scary, right? So kids, I'm
yeah,
sure attendance is going to be down, next school year. Who knows how long this is going to last. And then funding gets cut because people aren't in school,
school.
and then schools won't have the necessary resources, right? And who goes to LA schools? Mostly
Exactly.
minorities,
Hmm.
mostly Latino. Like
Hmm.
who goes to these schools? So it's a terrible situation.
Yeah, yeah. I don't. The school that I teach in, high population of Latino communities. We actually have a pocket of a lot of watermelon families, um, lots of dialect. I love where I work because I feel like I'm a Mexican. I was born in Mexico, but I never got to experience other cultures outside of that.
Yeah.
And being at the school that I'm at now, it's I love it. Like when a parent tells me that they speak dialect, I immediately ask, okay, how do you say this and how do you say
Hmm.
that? Because it's sometimes some of these dialects are just spoken, right? There's no written record of them. It's just a spoken language.
Yeah.
Um, but I definitely see the fear, um, in my students, and especially because I teach sixth grade. A lot of my students are responsible for their little siblings. You know, they go pick up their little siblings and then they walk home.
Hmm.
Um, how do I explain to them, like, you can't be out in the street like that? Like, you need to have an adult with you, or when it's a neighborhood that they've always felt safe in. And
Yeah.
now it doesn't seem like it is.
No, no, it doesn't feel safe at all. Doesn't feel safe at all. Again, I live right here by downtown, like right by the 101 freeway. I could hear the helicopters, I could hear the sirens, I could see the freeway being stopped. I choose not to walk down to City Hall. I could walk to City Hall from where I'm at right here. I jog through there probably like three times a week. I pass by City Hall, by the concert right there, the concert center, Disney, whatever it's called right there. I pass by there every morning at least 3 times a week, so I could walk down there. But I'm like, I don't want to get caught up in that. I don't know. I don't. It just seems, from what I see on social media, it's just a pretty chaotic, and I don't know if I want to get caught up in all that.
Yeah.
But again, it's tragic, and it sends fear to our students and to our families. And I hope that they resolve. There comes to some sort of resolution. I don't even know how you resolve this. I don't
I
know how you even the genie's out the bottle. Like, it's already like, how
yeah.
do you fix? How do you? It's like putting toothpaste back in the tube. Like, how do you? What do you? How do you stop? What do
And
you?
everything that's happening all around. I am about an hour and some minutes from downtown LA. Um, Even here, there's posts on our local Facebook pages, uh,
Mm,
giving people a heads up, like, "Hey, don't go to this store," and it's the uh, markets, the Hispanic markets, the Mexican
mm-hmm,
market.
mm-hmm.
Don't go to this store because there's ICE presence. And I think the scariest part too is that a lot of these vehicles are unmarked. They are not identifiable at all, and it's really scary.
Yeah,
Like,
because that leaves you
really,
with, like, let's say there's real criminals who put a mask over their face and get in a van and kidnap a girl and say that they're ICE and tie you up in zip ties and put you in their van. You're gonna get deported. Like, that's what's happening. You got these
mhm.
people in these masks who don't identify themselves, who are in these trucks, who just kind of just swoop up and grab people. Like, that's
Yeah,
and
that's
so
crazy.
I'm sure that criminals, like people that are really trying to harm, people that are kidnappers trying to harm, I don't know, that I feel like that's an in for them to mimic something like this and get away with it.
Yeah,
That my I was it was a family friend. It was explained to us that on his job, he works for some sort of, they make cards or something. um ICE came and just went into his business, his factory, whatever, and they just took people. Just I guess they got a tip, and they just took a bunch of people. Just went to the business and just took people. That's crazy. That's
yeah,
Yeah. So it's a strange way to end the school year. It's
very strange.
it's a
Um,
tragic, sad,
yeah,
strange way.
I guess in a way, I feel like, and it's good that we're on break,
Yeah. Yeah.
because I can't imagine being in the classroom at this moment and having my students ask me a bunch of questions.
Hmm.
Because what do you say? What do you say?
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah.
I wouldn't know what to say.
I wouldn't know what to say either. I'm no expert in any of this stuff. I'm
Yeah,
just an observer. I see what's going on. I can see all sides. I can see how there's fear amongst the police officers. Most of the police, I saw this video where this guy had a phone. He was like, "Oh, look at, there's Sanchez and there's Hernandez," and he's naming off all these Latino last names who are police officers on the front line, who maybe they don't want to be there, but they have to be there because that's their job, and
yeah,
they have a family to go to. They need to go home. Those people also need to go home and be with their family, and so they're afraid as well. And
yeah,
fear never is the right way to, I don't know, control a situation. I don't know. I'm not a big fan of fear.
it's like in the classroom, right?
If we
You
bring it back to classroom, if you
feel
bring that classroom and
scared.
everybody's scared to do anything, that you can't run a classroom based on
Yeah,
fear. You can't. You want to feel comfortable. You want to feel safe. When you
yeah,
feel safe, you're able to express yourself and take risks and do better. But if you're fearful, you can't take those risks. You don't want to speak up. You don't want to ask a question because you might, something might happen. And so it's the same in the classroom.